That's right.
Yep.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Day 2 of the World Championships 2015 in Kyoto, Japan. My name's Matthew Bell, and I'm joined here by Jerome Hale, and we're going to be going for the Dragon Duel finals this round.
So the Dragon Duel finals are between Mihail Flores and DeAndre Mason. Mihail Flores playing Teller Knights, and DeAndre Mason, we've seen him before earlier today, running Clifforts. It is, in general, I feel like this matchup goes pretty much in favor of the Cliffort deck, especially because DeAndre has kept in his massive monster effect negation suite that he would normally play to block the effects of Necros monsters, basically. It just so happens that all those same cards are really good against the Teller Knights.
Absolutely. Effect negation, the bane of your existence. So, we've got main deck Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbits for Mihail, which is...
That's very useful in this particular matchup, especially if you're forced to go second.
Yeah. I think in this matchup, because Teller Knights, would you still choose to go first in this scenario, or are you happy to go second, especially knowing you've got Ghost Ogre and Snow against the Cliffort deck?
I think you got to go first, get your traps down.
Still the right decision is to go first in this case.
Probably. I mean, there's just so much effect negation. The one thing that you concede there is that your opponent gets the 6 card, which gets them closer to Scout. But it's better than having your opponent combo off and do all their crazy stuff before you have a chance to do anything about it.
Right, and then they flip up their trap of choice that stops you playing.
Or they can Mind Crush your searches out. They can lose a turn, all your stuff. They can Fiendish chain you. You need to get a turn without all of that in the way.
Yes. I haven't seen the players start yet, but I'm not sure if this monitor is linked to the right place.
Nope, we are actually moving to the main event hall, where all the super festivities for the new Yu-Gi-Oh! Movie and everything have been taking place throughout the day. Our finalists will be playing on the big stage over the event hall across the way.
Oh, that hall was packed. I managed to get a chance to go over there. They had some panels going on with some of their original voice actors. KAZUKI Takahashi was also there, so that's obviously a very big deal. It's been quite a festival over there.
Yeah, we saw the people were lining up to get into this thing at 6 p.m. last night.
Yeah, camping outside the venue. It was crazy.
It was pretty insane, and it's pretty crazy over there. Like this morning, it's completely packed. Thousands and thousands and almost 10,000 people, I think, showed up today.
Somebody mentioned there was about 3 times capacity had showed up for this event.
So let's take a look over in our event hall.
Okay.
You can see the lights are down right now, but they're being brought back up right now as our duelists shuffle up and get ready to go. It is Mihail Flores of Peru versus DeAndre Mason of the United States.
Will you see the second world champion from North America this weekend? Quite a possibility.
Very well could be. Oliver Tomajko won 2 years ago in Vegas and then graduated to the main event last year, where he very nearly won that one too. Came in 3rd place, I believe.
That would have made him the only player that would have been successful in both of the tournaments for the world champion and North America's first Dragon Duel and senior divisions.
We could have similar history made here today, though, with potential first 2-time world champion, or maybe the first 3-time consecutive world championship appearance, depending on who wins the all-ages main event. DeAndre Mason starting things off with Upstart Goblin. Draws 1 card deeper in the deck, but makes it 1,000 points harder for him to actually win. Cliffort Helix is normal summoned, 2 cards face down. It doesn't appear he has the sacrifice this time around. Stellar Knight Deneb is normal summoned, and it's immediately hit by Solemn Warning. 9,000 to 6,000, but DeAndre is the one with the monster on the field.
One of those is probably a Call of the Haunted. I haven't seen the hands loading in for this yet, but when you see that many face-down cards, you can be pretty confident in a Teller Knight deck that's probably what's hiding under there.
You've got to think that that is the case. DeAndre, wise move, decides just to attack, test the waters.
Yeah, he wants to get the damage through. Whether or not he commits to any kind of normal summon or something in main phase 2, will give us an idea of what he was thinking. Okay, no, he's just setting an additional card and passing.
Second card face down, nothing in the end phase. Maybe it's not.
No,
call.
he probably doesn't have call. He wouldn't have just drew past.
It could just be the classic set everything bluff that never works.
Yeah. Especially with like pendulum monsters that you can get back anyway. It just makes like the only way that you're going to get caught off guard is if your opponent plays Dimensional Prison, which is
Solomon Bottomless, I think, are the real things that you got to worry about. But if you don't summon anything, you just keep attacking until you win.
yeah. The Talonite player has to. Mikhail actually has to. Okay, Mystical Space Typhoon.
Yeah, it takes 18, and DeAndre sets a third card, but in the end phase, that's going to be hit by a Ghost Rare Mystical Space Typhoon. I do love my Ghost Rare Mystical Space Typhoons.
Mind Crush
Chains, Mind
being
Crush.
chained. That's a blind Mind Crush. I mean, you know the player's playing Talonite. Oh, okay. Did he just...
I think he just guessed
Really?
reinforcement of the army and got it right.
What?
Guessed a limited... You know, it could be a case where Mihail didn't protect his hand properly.
Ah, and his opponent may have
Caught a
saw-
flash of it and knew what to call. Looks like now Fiendish Chain is being activated. Targeting the Helix. It's out of play to stop damage. DeAndre chains Mystical Space Typhoon from his hand. So that'll leave the Helix at 1800, but still allow it the freedom to attack.
Yeah, these sharp pokes coming in are adding up very quickly.
And in case you are wondering, the winner of the third and fourth place match for the Dragon Duel was, in fact, Zoltan Kolonix of Hungary
Big
with
success.
his hero deck.
Very well played, Zoltan. Lose one turn being activated for DeAndre.
And he's using that on the draw phase, as he's done with all of his negation traps. Very solid technical play from DeAndre. Stellar Knight Unalkalai, normal summons, sending Deneb to the graveyard with its ability. With lose one turn face up, it will be possible to negate Deneb's effect even if it is special summoned. And that Helix was in fact normal summon, so it's totally okay to play it that way. Mihail is now 2 more hits from Helix away from defeat in Game 1 of the finals. But now he has a monster that can match wits and fists with Clifford Helix.
Don't really see Clifforts with fists. If I'm honest, it's just some kind of weird spaceship with laser beams.
Well, I mean, that's how Unalkalai has the... it's able to fight it just because it doesn't have fists.
Yeah.
It's a distinct advantage, even though they have the same number of attack points. And in fact, they do. And they cancel each other out.
There's the Torrential being...
Torrential activated on the normal summon of Clifford Carrier. That loads up a second monster into the extra deck. So DeAndre can actually special summon or pendulum summon his monsters at full power, but they'll go to defense in their weaker defense position if he does. If he were to pendulum summon. A Vega with nothing left in hand drops for Mihail, and he starts to get some damage in on DeAndre. DeAndre saw a quick flash of his hand. Looks like he's got Dark Hole.
That's pretty... Feels like a little bit of a desperate Dark Hole there. To just sweep the one monster, but I guess he's trying to conserve life points.
Well, he wants to conserve life points and get rid of possible Xyz materials.
This is true, because yeah, if the follow-up is Alter, then there's a potential for a free material Xe summon,
Right.
which would get negated by lose one turn.
Yes. Unless it is Wrongominiad.
One of our favorite cards, which actually would have 3,000 attack. And would
Actually, no, Wrongominiad would still be negated because lose one turn is up first. That's like the old skill drain Jinzo problem. If
Right.
skill drain's up first, Jinzo's negated. If Jinzo comes down first, then you can't play skill drain.
Right. Okay. So yeah, here we go.
We got a normal summon of Deneb,
Deneb's negated.
of Altair to get back Deneb. Activates it anyways, but it's still negated by lose 1 turn. And Max C was chained to get DeAndre 1 card deeper into the deck. DeAndre's up. And it looks like he may have been able to assemble his pendulum monsters. So Stealth is normal summoned, and it's hit by Bottomless Trap Hole. Could be a little scary. Using Bottomless Trap Hole on just that one monster leaves DeAndre open to be able to pendulum summon a bunch of monsters back. And the thing to look out for is that Cliffort Monolith is a normal monster with 2400 attack. So if you pendulum summon that, which isn't something you would normally do, you would entirely get around your own lose 1 turn.
He drew the Skype, but there's the Telenova Alpha to negate that.
And now Mihal's right back in it. DeAndre's down to 3100. Pot of Duality could very well do it. He's got Unokalai. That would be enough.
Yep, that's the card he goes for.
Takes the Unokalai. DeAndre not giving anything away. He may, in fact, have a trap to deal with it. He actually doesn't have Torrential in his main deck.
I think what you can see from DeAndre there is he's going through memorizing the cards in the graveyard because he knows he's going to get knocked out this turn. So he's just going to take a quick scout of see if he can figure out what sort of ratios his opponent's playing, or if there's anything in there that he wouldn't normally expect to come to see from a Telenite player. May as well take a look while you've got the opportunity to.
Now we don't know that Mihal doesn't know that DeAndre doesn't play Torrential. But he has a Mystical Space Typhoon anyways to see the second lose a turn. And that'll wrap things up for the first duel. So, after a fairly strong start with DeAndre, despite the lack of Cliffort Scout, Mihal is able to get back into it and take the first duel of the Dragon Duel Finals. Mihal Flores from Hungary up 1-0 over DeAndre Mason from the United States.
So, let's take a look at some of the side deck options these players could pull in for this.
Well, we've seen Mason's side deck before. He's got the Veilers in there, along with Light and Prisming Mirror, multiple copies of that. And he also has a bunch of spell and trap removal. He's got Dust Tornadoes, another Mystical Space Typhoon, that sort of thing to help get rid of all of those extra cards. And then he also has Apocryphal 4 Towers.
Towers always being the interesting one where you're looking for a deck that doesn't actually have an answer to it, and then you just drop it down and win.
So the thing that's good in Tower's favor in this tournament is that there are a lot of promotional cards that are available in various territories across the world, but not all territories across the world. And in the interest of fairness, such cards aren't allowed for the World Championship. One such card is number 52, Diamond Crab King, or Diamond King Crab, one way or the other, which has an effect that changes its attack to 3,000, and as a result, is able to crash into towers and take it off the field. It's a rank 4 Xyz monster you see in Telenite decks all the time, but not here.
And not in Europe. That'll be one that we've not seen before, but I've definitely seen that one discussed quite a bit in the online communities.
So DeAndre Mason might think, hey, there's no Diamond Crab King in there.
Because I could just win off of a towers. That would be a very stylish way to win a World Championship title.
Does he play Heroic Challenger, Heroic Champion Excalibur?
Heroic Champion Excalibur.
So that would be another way to get rid of it, is doubling up to 4,000 attack, way bigger than the tower could deal with.
He does not play that card now. So
Interesting.
Does he actually have an out in here? 2 towers. Now I'm seeing a lot of effects that won't do anything to it. A Rongon Miniad with enough materials would have to crash into it. Can't be destroyed by battle, right?
Cannot be destroyed by battle and has at least 1 material, yes.
So, yeah.
So he would have to get it up to 3.
3 materials and crash into
materials and
towers.
crash.
Well, it wouldn't kill it. It wouldn't destroy itself, but it would take out the towers.
That would have to be the way to do it. Preferably you want 4 materials on it, so you'd also lock out summons for the next turn, so you don't just get beat by whatever gets pendulum summoned next.
Yeah, so you could just go with a good soul charge, good old soul charge, and get into the game that way.
One thing to watch out for, though. The effect of towers, if it was activated, does not actually affect cards. The card that your opponent is
Oh, right,
forced to
'cause
send to the
it's actually
graveyard.
making you make the decision to
Yeah.
send the card to the graveyard. It's not an effective thing.
So if you could keep your own towers on the field by increasing its attack points with your Cliff Fort, instead of trying to decrease the opponent's attack points, even Rongaminiad might not be an out to it.
Oh, we'll see if that one comes into play.
Because we are ready for Duel 2, possibly the final duel of the 2015 Dragon Duel World Championship Final.
There's a Light Imprisoning Mirror in DeAndre's hand, along with a Mirror Force and a Dust Tornado.
He starts with Cliff Fort Shell. That's the one that can attack twice per turn and inflicts piercing battle damage if it's tribute summoned.
Don't see that one very much anymore.
It's a scale 9, which is it's nice to have around just because it's a scale 9, but also because you can attack, just get 5,600 damage out of one card over multiple turns. 4 face-down cards join it, and we saw Mihail decided to go second to get that extra card.
Light Imprisoning Mirror being flipped.
Vega summoned, mirrors flipped.
There's
He's
a
got the
mystical
Typhoon again. And Unalklai is up next. Sternlight Deneb sent to the graveyard. And the monsters are placed to the side while pile shuffling occurs. So even though the mirror was lost, the mirror force is still there, which could really spell trouble for Mihail, depending on what the rest of his hand is. Looks like we're just about wrapped up with that. And we'll see if Mihail decides to go into his extra deck or into his battle phase. He goes for the extra deck and puts down Tether Knight Ptolemaeus in defense, along with 1, 2. Looks like 2 cards face down. The last one
Dust
was
Tornado.
left in his hand. And he loses both Mirror Forces, 2 Mirror Forces to 2 Dust Tornadoes.
I'll see you 2 Mirror Forces, and I raise you 2 Dust Tornadoes.
Which is better, a pair of Dust Tornado or a pair of Mirror Force?
Depends on whatever spell or trap card you have. So if the 2 Mirror Forces are the only ones that you have, not so good.
Ptolemaeus continues to pile up materials, and this time it's being ranked up into Pleiades during the end phase. Detaching to bounce yet another spell or trap card off the field.
It could have been the Mirror Force. There was a 50% chance there.
Well, I mean, he can use the other one this turn, because all that happened in DeAndre's end phase. He attacks and runs into the Mirror Force. And now he's going to go ahead and use his Pleiades effect to get Shell off the field. Altair drops in main phase 2 to revive a... Oh, both were Mirror Force.
Yeah.
So DeAndre had 2 pair, Mirror Force and Dust Tornado.
Wow, to match his opponents to Mirror Force.
Altair brings back Deneb. Searching likely for another Altair. There it is. This is now in main phase 2. And Mihail uses his 2 level 4 monsters to summon Daigusto Emerald. That'll let him detach to shuffle 3 monsters back into his deck, draw another card. I would not be shocked if he just takes all of the Xyz monsters that were just used as part of that Pleiades play.
Yeah, and then he can just make that play a little later on.
Goes Triver. Altair. Pleiades, and Ptolemaeus. So everything but the Triver. Triver, I believe, is the only Xyz monster he plays 2 of in his extra deck.
That is correct.
So he still has 1 in there, if he needs to summon it later on.
This is why he can afford to wait and see if he gets keeps the Daigusto Emerald when the turn swings back round to him. One play swings back line turn.
Once this shuffling is finished, DeAndre's going to really be looking for a scout. He's got 3 Summoner's Art, along with a pair of scouts, and a couple of dualities he might be able to pick up to dig even further into the deck.
If you hit neither of those cards, do you summon the shell and crash into the Digesto Emerald? Depending, I suppose it entirely depends on whether or not Mikhail actually sets any cards down.
Right. You mean if I get scout, or if I don't get scout?
If you don't get scout, because the Digesto Emerald will get another.
Yeah, no, you have to destroy it.
Yeah, it's a card that he can't afford to let that swing back round to him.
You're just going to get totally blown out if you let both draws off of Digesto Emerald happen. The ideal scenario would be to get scout and get sacrifice, so that you can just run it down. And he picked up Summoner's Art, it looks
There we
like.
go. So yep, he's going to go for that play that you talked about just then, most likely.
Summoner's Art for DeAndre, just what he needs to turn this thing back in his favor. Takes Clifford Scout, activates it,
Pays 800.
activates its effect by paying 800. Mihail does not have the Ghost Ogre. And he searches through his deck.
And you think sacrifice is the best option here?
I think he wants to get to sacrifice, yeah. That gets you a monster on the field with sacrifice on it. The problem is that Altair. He knows the Altair is there, and then Castell's coming next.
I think that's fine, actually, because then he's got access to another scout. I mean, the sacrifice could get shuffled away and run over, but then he keeps a scout.
Right.
I wouldn't be able to tell you what else is in Mikhail's hand, though.
Oh, it's Mirror Force. That's right. We've got Mirror Force.
Oh, he's got a Mirror Force to back.
Yeah, that was the one that was bounced by Pleiades. Yeah, grabs the sacrifice. That's going to get Emerald off the field. Sacrifice, Mirror Force, Scout, Shell isn't a bad field at all. The key is to not give up the 3 material rank 4. And just Altair isn't going to do that unless you get another Tellarknight in your hand. Because then you would Altair Vega other Tellarknight.
So he's actually got quite a few plays open to him, depending on what comes off the top of the deck.
Everything's shuffled up and ready to go. Clifford Shell, normal summoned again. There's the sacrifice, and it takes down Digesto Emerald. Sets Mirror Force, but Mihail doesn't know that yet. What are the chances, Mihail thinks to himself, that I drew double Mirror Force, and he drew double Mirror Force, and he drew double Dust Tornado?
He's probably not thinking of it, to be honest.
Altair normal summoned, and he did pick up the other Tellarknight, so Vega is the choice to bring back Unalkalai. That sends Deneb to the graveyard, and now Mihail has access to his Triver.
That seems like to be the best play there. He'll get quite a bit of damage through, get to take a card out of his opponent's hand, which could hit the sacrifice without triggering it.
It could. But when I think back to his earlier play with Emerald, his priority was getting Tellarknight, Ptolemaeus, and Pleiades back into his deck. So I'm kind of thinking that he might go that route.
I don't think he shuffled the Pleiades back into the deck, did he?
Oh, did he change his mind?
Like,
And put Triver back?
Unfortunately, I can't remember.
My recollection is that he did Altair, Ptolemaeus, Pleiades.
I would have thought that would have been the play. That's the one I was thinking. Oh, he goes for the free material Triver.
And there is Deltaros.
Oh, Deltaros.
So the thing with bouncing Sacrifice and Scout back to the hand is that they have Scout back in their hand.
Yeah, and then they go just activate it, pay 800, and then can carry on.
This way, you destroy the scout, and you have some time to buy. You can buy some time because they can't just ram shell into your Deltaros. It's risky though. If they pick up a stealth, things are suddenly going to go horribly wrong.
Oh,
Or you could just pick up scout, and things will also go horribly wrong.
Oh, scout straight from the top.
Horribly right if you're DeAndre, but I'm sure that is a blow to Mihail's confidence. He searches out the scout, tributes shell, which can be treated as 2 tributes thanks to sacrifice. For stealth itself, activate sacrifice as chainlink 1, activate stealth as chainlink 2 on Deltaros, and Mihail is actually not allowed to respond at all because that's what stealth does.
It's very, very powerful card. One of the best cards in the entire deck, alongside Clifford's Scout.
Cliffort Monolith is the choice off of sacrifice. That'll definitely get DeAndre a draw in the end phase, assuming that the game lasts that long. 28 and 18 would be 46, plus 1,000 more from Scout would not be enough. Alright, shuffling back up, and when we are finished, we'll have a 2,800 attack point Cliffort Stealth on the field, along with Cliffort Scout. DeAndre's got that face-down Mirror Force. Cliffort Monolith in his hand. We don't quite know what Mihail's got down there. Monolith is activated in the other pendulum zone. And Mihail does have Torrential Tribute in his deck. He summons both Scout in defense position and Clifford in attack position, or Clifford Shell in attack position. So that'll be good for 4,600 damage, and it also puts some defense on the field. Now the great thing about Pendulum Summoning Scout in that position is if your opponent does happen to get their 3 material back, and they do go for Triver, which they probably should not in this situation since it won't do anything to stealth, they would just put Clifford Scout back in your hand, and now you have 2.
There you've got the insurance policy.
Mihail draws and takes a look at his extra deck. That Clifford Stealth was tribute summoned, so it'll be unaffected by the activated effects of monsters whose level or rank is 7 or lower.
Which will be all of them.
Yep, don't get past 5 in Teller Knights, and you only get to 5 with the help of Ptolemaeus.
Which, yeah, I think I just saw Ptolemaeus in the graveyard.
Interesting. He does only play 1. Triver's the only one he plays multiples of. Ah, that is Pleiades. Reinforcement of the Army drops for Mihail. I still can't believe that blind call for reinforcement with Mind Crush last time around. That's just madness.
That's ridiculous when you think there's only 1 in the entire format that you're allowed to play. Well, not 1 in the entire format, but 1 in your deck at any time. And that's the card he calls.
That'd be an interesting format. Say like an 8-person tournament where each card in general can only appear once across everybody's decks.
That'd be really difficult. I mean,
very difficult to enforce, but it'd be an interesting thing to think about.
You have to find some sort of way to do it as a battle pack draft.
And
then regularly set the packs up in a way where there was only 1 of each card.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that. What about a draft format where there really is only 1 of each card? Like if you took the entire BP3 set, for example, put 1 card from each of it in there, and separated that up into packs. Something like that. We've got reinforcement for Altair into Deneb, which gets a search, and they are turned into Evil Swarm Exciton Knight.
He's putting the stealth in the extra deck, which he shouldn't be doing.
Yeah, I don't think that's correct. Stealth is unaffected. It should still be on the field.
No one's called it.
Unless there was a monster effect negation that I am unaware of.
Not that I saw.
Dark Hole activated.
Yeah, he should be swinging for lethal this turn. Well, I guess the players have accepted it and moved on, but that's quite unfortunate.
That is not the time that you want to forget about something like that, especially when you're down a game.
In the finals of the World Championship.
Especially when you know that your opponent has the other Altair left. Vega's the choice off of Deneb this time around. Everything's being shuffled up once again. We're not forgetting anything, are we? That stealth was tribute summoned off of
Yeah, he tributed
the sacrifice shell.
So it is level 8, meaning it shouldn't be affected by anything below. We can watch it back later. Maybe we missed something. But either way, the players have moved on.
Castel is Xyz summoned, both materials detached to send the Helix back into the deck.
Late Vanity's Emptiness.
Picks up Vanity's Emptiness, but it's not helpful here. Vega is summoned, no effect. Attacks for 32 on top of that 52 from before. That should leave DeAndre at 800. And he normal summons a stealth. Runs it into Vega, which goes through. Now getting dangerously low on life points. Both players dangerously low on life points at this point. Stealth is taken out. 4 back row cards for Mihail, who I believe is at 700 life points right now.
DeAndre's both his scouts are gone as well.
Yes.
DeAndre's going to lose a game. He shouldn't have. I mean, that's unfortunate, but...
And it looks like Mihail actually didn't attack at one point with Castel.
He couldn't attack the turn that it was summoned because he used Altair.
Ah, right. Call of the Haunted activated. Vanity's Emptiness is chained, but there's nothing left to help. And Mihail takes a 2-0 victory in the Dragon Duel World Championship off an error. That is definitely not how you want to see that end.
That's unfortunate, but at the same time, he played extremely well.
Yeah, I thought this was actually a pretty exciting game. There's a lot of great gameplay on both sides here.
Yeah, I don't want to take anything away from him. It was unfortunate that mistake didn't get picked up, but that was an excellent game.
Yeah, both players played extremely well. I think the highlight of it really is the blind mind crush on reinforcement of the army.
I have to ask him how he knew that.
Because that's brilliant. Yeah, I do want to know when he comes back.
He might have been side the table when he said, activate Mind Crush, and he goes, yeah, I've got reinforcements in my hand. And he goes, I believe you. And he goes, oh, I wasn't expecting that. You know, it could have been something like this, but...
Well, I'll be interested to find out the story behind that later. That's definitely one that he's going to want to tell to all of his friends back home. So, that means that, when all things are said and done, Mihail Flores of Peru is...
a world champion.
Dragon Duel World Championship.
Very, very well done to him. Yeah, he should be very excited. I'm sure we're going to see him again.
Great job.
In the award ceremony a little bit later.
I think we'll see him again next year.
And yeah, he'll be here next year. Well, not here, wherever we decide to run the next championship, but big, big, big congratulations to Mihail.
And that'll do it for us. Don't go away. The finals will be coming up very shortly.